Our first guest today is a renowned expert in the future of work. A lot has changed lately in this regard. Let's welcome Philip van Hout.
Hello everybody from Belgium in partial lockdown. Not fun to be at home only, but there is a way to make the most out of that. In fact, best practice for this is what I'm going to talk about today. I'll share with you the infrastructural foundations and the new rituals at work. And some of this has been built up since the past decades. In fact, activity-based work styles started 35 years ago, well before we had the internet, mobile available. We had a good fire drill in 2008 with the financial crisis, where a lot of companies embraced smarter and agile working, and also learned that working from home all the time can lead to burnouts. And now we are here. We can now convince the skeptics, because basically the pandemic has taken the foot off the brakes that have stopped people from working the smarter way. We've all experienced by now that working beyond the office has advantages, but it's also tough to work in that kind of style, particularly for leaders. All of us trying to be virtual in whatever space we are, to keep boundaries in between life and work. And technology doesn't work all the time. I have been blessed with technology for decades because of work in the tech industry. And therefore, I was always curious about what are the best places to work. And I experimented with new work styles and new leadership ways. And in doing so, saw the benefits and the challenges and became an ambassador for smarter working. What did I learn on the job? Well, it was about 12 years ago. My boss in California told me, Philip, tough times, lower revenue, so we got to cut on associates, and we also got to cut on space. Can you rationalize 3 offices into one? And I said, yes, of course I can. And I took the opportunity to ask all of my employees, what are the big showstoppers in their work environment? And I did that with the Leaseman Employee Workspace Satisfaction Survey. And they said, they actually shouted, they said, look, the acoustics in our offices are very bad. Can you fix that? I said, yes, we're going to do our best. And if you can then make sure that the acoustics and the noise at your end at home is suppressed too. They said that we had far too many kinds of technology that didn't really blend together, and they asked for that to be unified. And we had some pockets of people which were still exercising an old command and control style. So we took all of that to heart and then went for a new work style and actually galvanized that in a new office space. We called it the acoustic temple because it was arranged around acoustically optimized spaces for concentration, contemplation, communication, and collaboration. When we did a post-occupation survey with these men, again, we shot up to the top of the ranks of the best offices in the world at that time, and we won an award from the British Institute of Facilities Managers. At that point in time, I had a lot of people wanting to come and ask me what we had done and if they could copy some of the best practice. I had no choice but to write a book, The Smarter Working Manifesto, a very actionable best practice guide on how to focus on space, technology, and behaviors, available in 5 languages. Let me give you the key things that you can learn in there. Number 1, we have to practice activity-based working. It's that easy. If you recognize that for each type of activity, there is a better place, once you know that, you just go and work in those places. Be that at home, in your customer's office, your own office, or a co-working space, or outdoors, it doesn't really matter. In fact, we have had activity-based living since millennia in our homes because we have dedicated spaces to sleep, to have a meal, and so forth. So what that means is that working 9 to 5 on the same desk is old hat, particularly for the corner office. Where we need to go to is individual workspace portfolio management, whereby every week and every day we think about what are we going to do and then migrate from one place to the other where we can do that particular job the best because of what we prefer. Now, what are the foundations that we need to work on? Sorry. First of all, the question is there something that we need to fix in the space environment? And the answer is yes. You've already heard that acoustics is important. We need to do a better job of acoustic shielding, providing the ABC of acoustics with absorption, blocking, and cover. Most interior designers and architects forget about that, even in the nicest offices. Sometimes they have to redo it. When you fix the noise problem, then you can introduce the beautiful sounds of nature into your work lives. Not many have done that so far. On the technology side, what needs fixing is the networks. Unfortunately, the networks that serve you at home are good to make sure that you can binge on Netflix, but they are not very good for real-time communications. So the carriers and the network operators need to do their jobs to provide quality of service for real-time communication. Now, what I really wanted to spend my time on is on the new work rituals, the way we all need to work in this virtual environment. Now, when I talk about work, I'm talking about know-how work. I'm not going to talk about transaction, process re-engineering, and digital transformation. I'm going to talk about the yellow boxes, the know-how work. Now, in know-how work, we need to actually do rituals differently. And the rituals I will be zooming into will be authoring, presenting, interacting, and energizing. Let's start with that personal work, that focused individual work. Well, the first thing there is authoring. Authoring is all about doing your homework, whatever you are, and producing value add. The way it goes is you have an assignment, you listen well what the people want, customers or colleagues, you gather best practices and solutions, you analyze, synthesize, curate the best things, sprinkle a bit of gold dust in it with your curiosity and your innovation. You come up with a new solution for things, hopefully very, very well done. People are loving you for what you've done, and you earn a bit of good money, I hope. Now, if you want to do that, you need to use your engine. That's your brain. In fact, you have multiple brains, and they're not all that productive. The animal brain is there constantly ready to be alerted and distracted by social media, smartphones, sounds, noises, views, and things like that. Not very helpful. Reflection brains are there to produce the value add. It's hard for them to get into the right mood and to stay into the flow. And the archiving brain is working during the night. It's processing and integrating what we knew with what we learned the last day, and it's there ready to do even better for the next day. Now, that means that we need to make sure that we control the brain change, for instance, not doing any multitasking. So are we surprised, therefore, that in the 21st century, concentration is the superpower? Now, you can only do that if you stop from being distracted. Unfortunately, at this very moment, technology and the landscape open offices are the ones which are the party poopers. We need to get these things under control. Now, once you've done your homework, you need to present and share it with others. Let's just call it selling. Now, having your messaging lined up and being a good storyteller helps, but that's not enough. You need to project it, and that is why it's so hard in this virtual day to do that properly, because human beings have been designed to talk with their entire body. But if we have to talk, as I do at this moment, through this little camera, and you see me like a very little postage stamp, it doesn't work well. At that point in time, our voice becomes the amplifier. Yeah? And therefore, we need to start to master our speech impact. How do we do that? By standing up. I'm not sitting at this moment, I'm standing, although there is no audience. I vary my pitch, and the pace is a bit too fast. I know. I hope it's intelligible. And I do some storytelling rather than reading off the slides. The speech impact course, designed by former BBC people, has helped a lot of people to get good at that. Now, of course, the question is, where do you do that? All these distributed work rituals. Well, the answer is you do it in your home work studio. I can give you a privileged peek into my home office. This is exactly where I work at this very moment. My office, a closed space, has been designed and is optimized for concentration. I hear nothing that disturbs me outside, and not even people can get in. Also, I hope that my voice is coming through. I have a bit of an echo problem in my office here, but hopefully with the microphone I use on my headset, that's not too much of a problem. I have views, I have some art, I have an ergonomic stand and sit desks. I have good, robust technology, in fact, redundant. Yeah. But let's spend a bit of time now on teamwork, that other know-how work piece. Now, there we are now in this pandemic getting together virtually, and we have even more meetings that we already tired of in the past. In fact, we're having the next pandemic coming on us. Now, virtual meetings are in fact exhausting. Why? Because it's artificial for most of us, and the technology doesn't help. This is the new burnout virus that we are suffering with. So here is my plea to all of you: get better roll up your sleeves and make sure that you are good at virtual interactions. We need more focus, more reflection before we meet, better preparations, less attendees and more participants, shorter sessions, finishing early, respect for time and for contributions, discipline. Sum up what you've done, share it with people generously, and then evaluate and improve your meetings all the time. In fact, leaders need to become masters of ceremonies for memorable meetings. Good. So let's now move on finally to all of you leaders concerned. What about distributed work leadership? Well, that's the big bugger at this very moment. Most of the managers and leaders are getting soaked. For them, it's now sink or swim. Now, what is the nature of their job? The nature of their job is to serve these new virtual interactive professionals. It's the kind of person that has a freelance work ethic. He's a self-starter. He deserves to be given autonomy, and you will get back entrepreneurial style and initiative. That's the kind of person you need to have and you need to groom. Now, of course, the question is, are we designed to be virtual leaders? The answer is no. I was not designed to be a virtual leader, but I had a diagnostic. I did an assessment back 5 years ago from Work Evolution, which rated me in about 13 domains of virtual leadership capabilities. I learned a lot from it. I was humbled. I was coached. I learned and I applied what I learned. Yeah. Now, a lot of what is in there has to do with mastering human dimensions of work. And I'll touch on a few here straight away. First of all, you need to understand that intrinsic motivation is what we need to fuel with people. It's been well covered by the self-determination theory, which says that if you give people autonomy, they will shine. Very well explained by Daniel Pink in Drive. So you need to understand that and apply it. From there on, trust will become the rocket fuel. The other thing is that these kind of people, which are then working in those conditions of empowerment, are known to a large extent that they will hit the wall at some point in time. If not, we can avoid it. Why? Because their brains are so energetic that they forget that there is limitations on the various body aspects that cannot just follow. So therefore, for these people, let me just go the other way. For these people, it's important that they realize that in order to be a corporate athlete, they need to have various vectors of capabilities in good shape. In fact, all of these batteries need to be charged well. Why? Because people will only be able to perform in totality at a level that the lowest battery is. So therefore, energizing becomes very important. You saw me earlier on saying that the 4 habits and the 4 rituals have to do with authoring, selling, and interacting, but energizing before and during now becomes the most important thing in this pandemic. And how do we do that? Well, the best battery charger is nature. And by the way, we're not using it, and it's available to us. It's not that far. It's just around the corner. Is this natural? We're spending all of our time sitting, staring at Mickey Mouse and bigger screens. We're moving from one air-conditioned box to another one. Can't open the window. Where the hell is that air quality? Come on. I mean, some animals are in better conditions to live than some of the people that are working. And there is a solution for that. I mean, the biophilic science has provided scientific evidence of the nature blessings, better productivity, higher creativity, I mean, being more kind, less stress, improved health. It's all there, not just proven by science, but experienced by so many people. That's why we go to nature for vacation. Now, how do we do that? Well, it's simple. On the right-hand side here, you see all of the ingredients, right? You know what nature gives you. You just need to make sure that some, preferably a lot of these things, are available in the mix, and I call this nature at work. If you do that, then your nature the senses that we have, our nature sensors, are optimized and they crave for this. And the more of these senses that you can appeal to, the more effect you will have. So now, of course, the question is, how can we apply all of this working from home, as many of us might have to do up until the end of next year, God forbid. So what we need to realize at this moment is a lot of people are handicapped. Leaseman, in their survey in September, said that only 4 out of 10 people have a dedicated closed room where they can work. 30% have to do with an area that is not closed off, and 30% work from non-work specific locations. This could be the den, this could be a sofa, it could be a kitchen, it could be the children's room. So a lot of people are handicapped in how they need to work. Now, Well-being at home, therefore, and we need to strive for it, requires a dedicated work studio. It is not a luxury, and I'm saddened with the fact that a lot of people do not have homes which allow that to work well. I also take a lot of time standing up. I have a new thing. It's like a mobile desk which you can suck onto a window. It's called Not a Desk. And I spend 2 out of 3 hours standing up because I have more energy. And everywhere I have a window, I have a new desk, and I just require 1 square meter. I also bring nature into my work life indoors. Yeah. And by the time that the fog lifts, some of us will find some alternative from working from home in co-working spaces, because working 5 days a week from home is not something to be recommended. We know that we don't have any choice at this moment. So for me, taking work outdoors, therefore, I love doing. This is me working on the presentation that I now give to you yesterday. We had a beautiful Indian summer day, and I stood there exactly like that for a good hour, and I was shielded off the rain and some other things that I didn't enjoy. But yes, work there outdoors. So staying energized, mega important. It means taking breaks. I take a break at least half an hour in the morning and in the afternoon. Proper lunch break, preferably outdoors. Also, whatever ritual that you are in, be it authoring, presenting, and so forth, keep it to less than an hour and bring nature into your work. So let me summarize, therefore. Your critical success factors that I recommend to you are: adopt activity-based work styles, use acoustic work studios for concentration and speech impact, engage in memorable virtual interactions, give servant leadership, and break to energize with nature. You, me, all of us need Ben. Now, I'm very pleased to take the opportunity of this stage today to introduce to you that we're launching today the European Smart Work Network. It's a network for practitioners of smarter working, by the practitioners. In essence, we are sharing best practice. Have a look at the website, see what it takes to become a free member. And I'll look forward to sharing in more detail some case studies there with you. And with that, I think we're ready to move on to our panel.